Yes, welcome to new mock interview session. And today we're gonna run classical iOS interview, right? Technical, but we have a really skilled man today. So let's try some interesting questions and more topics. Especially some people ask to go through, architecture topics and this kind of things. Yeah, I can try it out. Yeah, agenda as usual will be introduction. Then we'll go to technical questions straight away. We'll try to cover different topics to different depth. Uh, you know, Maybe classical topics, but we'll try to figure out how things works in depth a little bit. And then if we will have time, we can jump to just discuss some code puzzles. Just what's wrong, what's good, how can we maybe update it or how it works in general. This is the agenda. Very much. Yes, so we can start from introduction. So please go ahead.
Sure. So, Satyam, I have around 4 years of experience in iOS app development, like working in the healthcare domain, like e-commerce, OTT, and fintech. So, in majorly, I have worked in the healthcare domain. Like there was from scratch to deployment, I've got the chance. So, there I've learned a lot of things, like working from setting up the project to architecting the thing with the team lead and working on each module. So that's kind of a thing. And that project was user can book the lab test, user
Hmm.
can book the doctor consultation on that. Worked on the Apple Health Kit integration. So user can track their steps down, all other vitals kind of the things in that. And apart from that, I've also worked on the like another fintech kind of the project where on the maintenance phase basically and also work with the Google Maps kind of the thing. So these mix kind of the things I have got in my experience.
Okay, okay. But you said 4 years, 4 years experience, right?
Yes, around 4 years.
Quite intense experience for 4 years, I would say.
Actually, variety kind of the project I have worked on, so that's why.
Okay. Got it, got it. Okay, nice to meet you. So, yeah, my name is Ildar. I'm located in Sweden. I'm working as a lead software engineer currently. So yes, I've been doing this teaching, learning stuff, um, quite some time, the last 6, 7 years probably. Mm, So let's try to enjoy this session. Not gonna be pressure. Hope it's gonna be beneficial for both of us and for whoever watching this later. Okay, so let's start slowly from technical questions, right? So let's just deep dive to that, to the Swift. One question from my side first. Have you had experience with the Swift UI?
Like in the dummy project, I've tried learning, but not in the production.
Not in
I've
production. Okay. So mostly UIKit and Swift. Objective C? No, no Objective C. No object, just okay, okay. Yes, I'm from area of Objective C, so there have been some questions on Objective C level as well. But now, yes, now it's easier. Now it's just a Swift. All right, let's start then from Swift. So let's start from Swift question. Actually, very very basic question, but we can talk. So there is a rumor that Swift is a strong typed language. What does it mean, strong typed language? And how is it different from non-strong, weak type language?
Basically, in my opinion, generally, we declare some variables, right? If we declare some variable and provide some values, as double, as a string, then it take as a that kind of the thing. So in that way,
Okay. And for instance, can I create some variable type of dictionary and assign array to that? Is it possible in Swift?
I didn't get variable type of dictionary means.
Type of dictionary, like, some dictionary with something and then equal to array or equal to double. Will it work in Swift?
Dictionary is something close to double. I think not there we have to provide some key value kind
Okay,
of
well,
the
yeah.
thing.
Okay, okay, I got it. Uh, what can my array, can it have, can it store different types?
Yeah, I can store the different types.
But I mean, simultaneously, is it possible to store simultaneously? For example, I want to have array of doubles and floats and integers and
So you
strings.
ask mixed kind of the things like a array can have a like one and like name such as name and string or some doubles, right? Or no, I
How
think
to make it?
yeah, it's a like it will be of the same data kind of the thing. Integer array will be holding the integer values, and the string array will be holding the string values only.
So okay, but do you think, is there any way to have such behavior? For example, when
Because
you,
of the
to have, to be able technically have different types in array, like when you, uh-huh.
because in the Swift.
Okay, right. Yes, so we discussed a little bit Swift type, right? Okay, this is just going some generic. Then we can move from that maybe to how memory work into the
Yes.
memory management. Tell me what you know. Let's start from that. Tell me what you know about the memory management in Swift.
Basically, memory is managed for like via arc for the strong reference types. So by default, all the references in the Swift are strong, and arc is responsible. Automatic reference count is responsible for managing the memory for them. Whenever the new instance for the reference is created, then it will be increment the count whenever like decreases or instance free up the memory that it will decrement that particular count, and whenever it goes to zero, whenever the object will become the nil, then automatic reference count it will be counts to the zero. So basically
Okay.
in that it freed up the memory. And for the this is for the reference types only. For the value types, arc is not working there. For the value types, whenever the block will be completed, then automatically memory will be freed up.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, we can stay here a little bit. Yes, we have arc, but you describe it well how it works. But can you describe when it work? So we have a
So
project, right? We have project. Project have different stages.
yeah,
Let's say we have build time, we have run time, we have compile time, right? Different. So and then we're saying that we have some mystery mechanism called arc. How it's when it's
yeah,
integrated.
suppose can we for example, we have a reference type class, we have some properties inside it, and when we are creating the instance of that particular let's say class, the object of the class, so it will be allocated some memory at that time. So let's say we can say the reference type basically work in the runtime kind of the thing, and the value type basically in the memory for the compile time.
And okay, but do you know when exactly happens the count putting the references for variables? Is it in during the runtime or during the some other stage? Or it makes something, how does it, how it works? Because we have several stages, right? We have, for instance, we have moment when reference count increased, or we have some moment when it should be cleaned up, right?
Actually, I got your questions. Whenever the arc is basically allocating the memory or releasing the memory, so that all the thing happening all the compile time. But at last, whenever the object got nil, or whenever the object is freed up, all the cycle will be completed, that then all the things majorly or mainly happen on the runtime. The allocation deallocation part will be compile time kind of the thing, but at the runtime in in real at the runtime all the memory will be allocated.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, yes.
works.
Right. So, and then we have different types. You said strong, weak, right? But there is also some mystery type called unowned
Yeah,
reference. Is it how it correlates? Is it
so basically for the strong references, arc will be increment or decrement the things, but for the weak and unknown, it is not counting the that reference. They will be creating the weak reference, but they will be not participate in the arc kind of the thing. They are used for the to saving us from the retain cycle kind of the things.
and what would be if I'll create something with weak reference, just
So that
straight away with a weak reference without any strong reference? What would happen?
So basically, its allocation will be there. Object will be object will be created, and but its reference will not be counted in arc, and like the object may have some value in the week kind of the thing, and it may not have it. Like for the week, we generally like uses the optional kind of the thing. It like whenever it goes to zero, like whenever the object will be deinitialized kind of the thing, like it free up the things.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Absolutely. And what's the difference between? I don't. You didn't say, I guess, weak and unowned. So you said both of them not
Yeah.
increasing the reference count. That's true. But what's the difference between them? Between them?
So basically, like we have discussed, and like for the unknown kind of the thing, it says like it will the object will not be nil during the cycle, and like if we already have surety that our object will not be nil, then we can use the known kind of the thing. But like in that scenario, if we don't have surety and if goes nil, then there will be crash happens.
Okay. But do you know why we have it? Why we even need this unowned? Why we don't have just strong and weak?
So exactly like under the hood, like not a too much depth idea about that.
Okay, okay, yeah. Because before, at some point, it was just strong and weak, and then for some reason appeared unowned. So yes, but it's like historically happened because of some reason. Okay, anyway, let's continue. Let's continue this interesting discussion. So we deal with that part. Then we let's talk about the value type. So value type is set not increasing the references. Works differently, right? But then my question would be, how does it work? Let's say, so I have a class. A class could have different fields, like properties, right? It could have class properties or value properties. Okay, that's kind of understandable. How it works other way around. What if I have structure, and in structure I have class references? How it's in the memory? Can you explain how does it work?
For the classes, basically, the reference for the classes will be stored in the stack, and their object created will be stored in the heap side. And like, so
I,
basically the reference type mainly generally says that they are like working in the memory for the heap, like within the heap, but their reference will be stored in the stack, and like object will be stored in the heap. And for this like value kind of the value type kind of the things, they are like stored in the stack, like basically inline kind of the thing. And after like sometimes like Swift optimizes that those like value types, and under the hood, like after optimizations, they can be stored in the heap or something like stack. But initial phase for the value type, the stack, and for the reference type is a heap mainly.
okay, let's try to go one step further. So, do you think how many stacks we have? So, for example, you're building app, you're running app. Can you tell me when your stack and heap are located, and
Okay.
how many of them we have?
Sure, sure. For like, let's say for we have one structure, like we have created its one object, then like its memory is located in the particular stack, like there will be a separate copy for that. And whenever the second object we will create, we will assign the first object to the second object. Then like it will like basically create another copy for that kind of the thing. And for the classes, if we talk, then when we create, let's say object one for class, then like one stack will be there for holding the reference for that particular object, and like that object will be stored in related heap kind of a thing, which will be like that pointer to the heap, pointer to that particular object will be pointing out. And whenever the object 2 is created and we are assigning to the object 1, so what will be like happening, or like it will be pointing to the same like it will be just create another pointer from that particular, so that kind of the thing will be there.
Okay, yeah, good answer, good answer. All right. So then we have, for example, something like collections in our Swift. Does these collections, are they reference type or a value type in general? So and then how does it work? Let's say if I want to create, array of 1,000 items, and then I want to copy that array to another place in my app. Um, my memory is not going crazy when I'm doing it, even though if I'll pass it, 1,000 times inside the app, inside the, classes, structures, whatever, it doesn't bump. What's the reason? If it's value type, if it's copying every time, or is there something different?
So basically, there will be separate copy will not be created until we like it will not be modified. So there's a concept like copy on write kind of the thing. Whenever the some value will be changed inside that, then the another copy will be created for that.
Is it work the same for other types? Let's say doubles or integers, or to what that mechanism copy and write work?
Not tested, but I think they are the value type. Then it should be work same for those.
Okay, okay. Right. All right. Nice, nice. So usually there've been some questions around collections, but let's keep them a bit. Let's jump with you to other interesting parts. So one interesting question could be here is how we can profile our app for memory, problems, because this is the classical thing that, you need to understand why your app is lagging or there is maybe some troubles. How are you going to profile? How are you going to be sure that you don't have reference cycles or nothing leaking in your.
There are some pointers we can keep checking. Before, first we said that reference cycles will not be there. So manually we can check the strong references are not holding another strong references. Let's say for one classes is not holding a strong reference for another class, like kind of the thing. Either one of them we can we have to make the weak one or unknown one as per the requirement. We will
How are you
check
going to check it? Sorry, how are you going to check it? You're saying that you can check it, but how are you going to.
this one reference kind of the thing, or strong references manually we can track. Otherwise, another point we have like instruments inside the Xcode, there we can also check in the memory kind of the thing.
Have you used any instruments? So maybe you can name
a
some of
long
them.
time a long time ago I have used, so not exactly remember the name for
Okay.
all the tools there, but memory kind of the memory, there was one option there where we can see the memory for the things like threads. They are another kind of the thing. Threads we can see, CPU kind of the things, frames we can see, but memory kind of the thing also there in instruments.
Okay, okay, yes. But then let's say if you need to make something that would, in your tests, would tell you that there is a reference cycle or no between, something. You want to be secure, let's say. Is there any idea that you could come up now how you can make it work in the unit tests? Not UI tests, but unit tests, how you can make it work and to check that is there any reference cycle in that model.
Yes, I think I have no idea about that right now.
Yeah, just maybe if you had experience, with that. Okay, yes, good, good. Let's continue then. So we talked about some, references, memory, how it works. I think we can slowly go to concurrency. Classical thing. I would love to hear about the what kind of concurrency have you worked? Yeah, have you worked with the just modern one, or did you experience any low level concurrency mechanisms?
Yeah, so I've worked with the GCD applications.
Okay. Have you did anything with using tasks, chapters, something like that? I think away it is.
They are I'm just reading them and trying to creating the POCs with them, but not built in my application. So
So mainly you work with GCD.
yes,
Okay, let's stop it then. Um, so GCD, when we're talking about the GCD, this is basically a tool for us to manipulate queues, right?
yeah.
But what's the difference you can tell between threads and queues? Is there any difference?
So basically, threads are the very smallest unit. We can say it's a process kind of the thing,
Mm-hmm.
which we can say a task kind of the things which we can submit it inside the queue, and queue is like a kind of the thing, so whichever the thing will be comes first, that will be goes out first. So inside the queues, or let's say thread pool, we can say we can submit it our task.
Okay, right. So, and working with the GCD, we have, sometimes we need something like, let's say we have multiple GCD runs, but then I want to make some action when all of them is finished. They all async. let's say I want to start something on the background, on the some, some queue, like using some cost and quality of service for
Yeah.
something, and then also something, and wait until all three of them finished and do something. Is it possible using GCD?
So like you mean to say all the queues or all the tasks will be completed after that we need to do
Do
something?
something, yes, yes.
Okay, so yeah, like with the dispatch group, like it is possible. Like we
Okay.
can schedule all the tasks, kind of the things inside that asynchronous way or something. Like suppose like that is a very classical thing, like API calling, multiple API calls. After that, we need to update the UI kind of a thing, or we need to do some other actions. So in that like dispatch group, like we can like enter and leave like per task, like per API calls, and after that, like it will be like balancing entering and the leave kind of a thing. Whenever it goes to zero, like it balances out all the enter and leaves, then it will like we will use like the group notify kind of the thing, and there we can
Okay. But have you worked with the operation queue as well, or only GCD?
too much like like some
But maybe you know the what's the benefits of that, according, really, if we
for
talk about, what's
operation.
the, yeah.
So like operation gives like built on top of that, like, and basically like it provides us more basically control
Mm-hmm.
on earth, like we can like resume the like our task, like resume and the cancel to the cancellation kind of thing. Although like there's a cancellation in the like GCD is providing, but that is a different kind of the scenario. Let's say we can say whenever like it may not work properly, like if the task is started, or we have started, so we have submitted all the things in the group, or it will like basically cancel all the group, or basically well all the work item basically at once. But in the operation queue, like we can like handle single queues, or many tasks are there, like many things can be basically more control it provides us
Okay.
like
Okay.
over the queues.
Yeah, right, right, right. All right. And then let's try to talk now about some practical example using the threads and, in general, concurrency. Let's say we have some request to get array of users or images. Okay. Something like that. Now I want to build it in the right way. So
Mhm.
let's say I build some service that has that request and use, URL session to get and map the into array of models. Then I want to return or do something with that, basically. Now what happens? I want to not only return and show it, but also have some basic level of caching in that.
Okay.
What would you use in such scenario to, work with that and have some basic level of caching?
In this scenario, the most feasible thing will be like we should use some cache, separate cache kind of the thing, or cache manager kind of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever like we got the data from the API, like we cache them, and like uh, suppose we need to load more data, or we need to get another data, until like till then like we can show from the cache. So like the loading can be done in the background kind of the thing, and we can do the UI things from the cache, like it will be more make more faster things that scenario.
Yeah. Okay, okay. And then let's talk about that. We want to have just in memory cache. Basic in memory cache. How would you do it? Like just to have basic in memory cache for making, like speed upping a little bit, showing the UI when you where would you store that in memory cache?
Like 100% sure, but like NS cache is like kind of the things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good, good. NS cache, good. Why
So
not sometimes people says that they want just to have it some dictionary or array for that.
that is a dictionary array kind of the thing. So like that NS cache I'm talking like that is that provides us some kind of a memory, like there we can store something, and like that is more prominent, like feasible than that particular dictionary or array. It's better than use the NS cache.
Okay. Related to our topic, basically, of the concurrency, my question would be, is our collections a threat safe or not?
Collections are the thread safe cause like they are the value types, and like yes, collections are the thread safe. As
Okay.
value types, they will be giving the separate copy of the things like.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so an S cache just makes it more feasible to use in that scenario, right? Right. Okay. Let's then continue to, so yes, we would not touch any more threads like concurrency, unfortunately, but I would ask you about some concurrency problems and how we can solve them. For example, race condition, classical one that we can have in our app. What the way we can solve race conditions in our app?
So it's like one thread is already busy and another thread is trying to access that kind of the thing. So in that scenario, what kind of the thing that like barriers or locks some like until the task will be completed and other thing will be. I think that is a different kind of the thing.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But have you heard like basic, maybe like we can log semaphores, something like that?
Semaphores, locks, the kind of the things like
Mm-hmm.
which can we can if we use them like till then the execution will be hold basically like for that particular thing and that particular task will be completed after that another like after that that will be freed up and another
Yes.
thread can be used.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Right. So let's wrap up with that concurrency and continue to the. I think we will stop with you. We'll draw you some break soon. We're gonna wrap up with the basic Swift questions, and then we'll continue with the UI parts, and we'll just stop between to give some feedback. And otherwise, it's gonna be too much to talk about. Yeah, just a few sections here. I think that for us, I would go into more also some Swift kind of things. So there is something called protocol-oriented programming. What does it mean?
So basically, that is providing some extra set of rules, basically from other languages. Like there's some from the Java, there is also provided, but different kind of the thing. But in the Swift, like interfaces, yeah. So in like other languages, interfaces how they are working, so in the same way, like protocols is working for us in the Swift, like basic general way for the protocols we say like they are the blueprint like in that we can define some things set of rules we can define and after that conforming that particular protocol in different classes or structure we can do the different kind of the things with them or whatever the requirement we.
Why it's but what yeah, that's true, that's true. But why it's called protocol-oriented programming? Because usually you call it, object-oriented programming, for example. And here it's sometimes you can hear like protocol-oriented programming. Why these protocols are so powerful? What do they give to us? What we can do with them? So it's even like directional a thing to use.
So some extra features what the protocol is providing is kind of the thing multiple inheritance is also not supported in the swifts like we can do with the protocol
How? You can
base.
do it with a
Yeah, basically whenever we define the protocol and we can confirm in multiple classes and we can also confirm multiple protocol to the
Mhm.
classes for doing different jobs so
Okay, but
in that yeah in that way and
but then when we're saying inheritance, usually you
yeah,
inherit something, right? Let's say you inherit some default implementation from some class, or you can override it. Is it possible with the protocols?
single inheritance is only, but multiple inheritance for like using the multiple classes, like inheriting from the multiple classes is not.
Yeah, yeah, but is it possible to have such behavior with protocols? That's a question. Is it possible that protocols give you some default implementation?
Yeah, protocol provides default implementations also. Like we can provide some default implementation in the protocols.
But possible because in other languages it's usually not possible. In Java, for
We can
example.
we can also we can provide the default implementation in the protocols if required. That can be like we can change or we can use in other classes by.
But yeah, I'm still wondering how are you gonna? Let's say you have two functions, say
Okay.
hello in the protocol,
Yeah.
and I want to have my class that will not do just implement that protocol, but will not do anything. Like I just want to like an inheritance. I just want to name it that I'm implementing that protocol, and I want to use some kind of default implementation of this hey hello without even having any code in my class. Is it possible?
So yeah, like by creating extension of that particular protocol, we
Hmm.
can write some like details in the functions of
Yes.
that particular
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Good. Good.
In
Good.
that
Yes.
way, it is possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Then let's move to generics. Because generics are very, huge thing in the Swift, I would say. A huge big part of that, everything on the generic, everything generic. So let's start from, some classical question on the generic side. Why we even need them if we have protocols, for example? So I have protocol and I can have a function that takes anything that this protocol and do whatever with that, right? So why do I need generic?
So basically, like there are too much different things. Like in the protocols, we are defining some set of rules or taking anything that depends, like confirming that protocols in another classes or structure in like that is another thing. But about the generics, like in the generics, whenever let's say we write some generic function or like we write some generic thing, so that thing says like that can accept any kind of the data type, like integer, double, float, string, let's say. So in like
But can we limit these types as well if we need it? Sorry, can we limit these types? If my function should not work with strings, for example, just with numeric types, is it possible for in the generic function to somehow limit it into that?
I didn't get you properly.
So I have a function that do something with the numbers.
Okay.
So I don't want to have any strings incoming into my function. Is it possible to make it work like that? So still have it as a generic, but limit it a bit, put some constraints that it's only for numbers.
So that is like we can use some like we can confirm some protocol to the generic. I'm not like remember the exact name, but there is one protocol like protocol kind of the thing. Like by confirming into the generic, like we can only limit it to our generic, like accepting the numeric, floating and double only kind of the things, not a string. So in that way.
Yeah. Another interesting question about the generics and protocols for it's leads more than to, I would say, building the app and stages. So basically, we're saying that generics could be depends, but like anything, let's say, right? So if we have
Mhm.
generic, super generic function, it could be anything, and then we call this function in our code and passing different types. The same way we could have protocols, or we have different protocols,
Mhm.
and different classes could be implement same protocol, right?
Yeah.
So now the question for us, when or for a compiler, when is type, like when the compiler knows about the type, or when it's, when we have this type, is it during the build time, compile time, run time, when this type is available for us? How do you think? Is there
Okay.
any difference between generics and, let's say, protocols in that?
Sure, like for that thing, like if it is like it will be easy for me. Like if we gonna take one example, then I can think better about.
Yeah, I mean, so for example, you have a generic function
Okay, let's say
that's just prints whatever it takes. Okay, so we call this function in our code in different places and passing different types there. Okay, inside parameter, generic parameter of this function.
like all the like functions, not a compile time, sorry. Like it will be like knowing in the runtime, because like will not have a address exactly at that time. It need to like in some like say dynamic like table kind of the things. It will got to know the address later, and then like so basically runtime it will be getting to know that in the memory kind of the thing.
Okay, okay. And
So
for protocols, for
from
example,
where
is it the same for protocols?
from where I'm linking this generic functions kind of the things as like functions, they are the reference kind of the things, and like for that like that particular dynamic dispatch is used. So from that portion, I'm linking that.
Okay, right. So I think that's a good stop. Let's now wrap up this with some architecture questions a little bit here. So we have different things. We have patterns and architecture patterns and behavior patterns, different ones. I would like to hear from you. What would you prefer now, today, let's say, when you're building a project from scratch? Which one you choose and why?
So that depends first, like I will investigate about like what kind of the project and how much scalable it is. Like if it is a just POC kind of a thing or very small thing, like we just need to create it and we need to take some learnings from that. Like I'll just go with the MVC, like create and like run and take the things from that. And if we need to publish to the large user base and some another scenario, so then we will go some with the structure architecture. Let's say MVVM with clean can be like MVVM, some boilerplates can be a good option. A Viper can be in some cases whenever like too much large team is gonna work, we need to define some set of rules that this gonna like this chat module will be like working like this only, or this like build like builders kind of the things, or a router kind of the things, or the navigation parts kind of the things will be run in this way only. So large team are working on that, like so that is a different kind of the things. So that depends on the project. What
Okay,
are
okay. So let's say you have a team of 5 people and you're building something that gonna use thousands, 100,000 people, some applications,
mm,
some music app, let's say, some local music app. What would you prefer if you have a
both
chance to
both
select?
options in that scenario, both options we gonna can take like for the like MVVM with more some boilerplates and like or some Viper or some other architecture, but like which I have experienced, I have like worked with a normal MVVM with the like DI kind of the thing.
Hmm.
But with that, like I will suggest like they should like introduce some router layer. They should introduce some builder layer so that a navigation kind of the things can keep separated. Like another things can be keep separated. Like this logic obviously will be keeping separated and UI will be there. So that
Yeah.
like I
Okay.
will stop VPN there.
All right, all right. And when we're talking about the MVVM, so basically, as a part of the concept, you need somehow connect, have some bindings mechanism between view model and view, right? So it should be some bindings. What would you use for it today to have this kind of reactive experience, bindings experience?
For the reactive, I've not like worked on the like RX or combined kind of the thing, but I'll use the that combine uh, after learning that thing. Because like it's reactive ones, like in today's like it will provide some reactive experience there. But yeah, and previously like I've worked with that users like fallback kind of the thing, the delegates for the communications. So previously I've used Mockable, but today's like I'll choose the combine
Have you heard about something called flow coordinators?
uh, coordinator and
Flow coordinators or coordinators. Have you heard about them? Something about
yeah,
this?
I've like heard about that. Like I've seen that in my like one of my project few years ago. Uh, but like not got a chance to work on that so much lately.
Okay, okay, yes, yes. All right, let's good. Let's then stop. Time flying really fast. You're going really good through questions, so really nice to talk with you about having this experience. Let's have a stop here and quickly give you some feedback
So
around the question. So we talk about different things, a lot of topics. Why there are just a few things that I can tell you that was incorrect a little bit. So one of them, very first question about the array that you could have. Could you have different types in the array or no? And the answer is actually yes, but it's a bit tricky thing. There's a trick because your array should be type of any. So if you
oh,
use any
yeah,
type, then
in
you
that
can actually have
yeah
any type inside, but technically it's a one type. It's any type. But
yeah
like
I
you can
just
have multiple. Yeah, this
I
is a
just
bit
got it. Yeah,
trick here, but yes, yes. I mean, if you would answer it, I would ask you probably the difference between any and any object that we have.
yeah, got it.
This is just the thing. Nothing important.
That
Just
is a yeah, that is kind of the thing. I got it. I've got it for all the futures.
yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Another thing that's a bit more. Well, it's not that serious, but something to just to consider for you. is that collections in Swift are not thread safe.
Okay.
You can double check that, but this is the thing. They are not sets, arrays, dictionary, they are not thread safe. That's
Okay.
exactly why you choose a good thing from the beginning when we talk about the caching in Cache. This is the best one
Yeah.
for in-memory cache. Not only because it has a mechanism to, manipulate with the cache and free up the memory automatically.
Yeah.
You can, put some maximum amount or maximum megabytes, I think, that you need to store, want to store. That's good, but also it's thread safe. It also thread safe. So it compares into dictionaries, because some people say it's like, why do I need something like that? Why I
Mm-hmm.
can't just use array or dictionary? And well, in theory, yes, if you don't care about, freeing up that, if it's fine for you, yes, why not actually? But
Mm-hmm.
then you need to think about the thread safeness, and they are not thread safe. So that's why we come to that. And that's why you need to know how to make them thread safe sometimes. That about the logs, having maybe one queue where you, for writing at least, reading from any queue, write in one specific queue, or yeah, using modern way of working with the actors and tasks that could also help. Yes, other than that was small thing about generics, just that types. So basically for generics, we know types during the compile time. So because this is the thing about the generics that makes compiling faster, I would say, because work faster, because during the compile time they already know. If they don't know, then you usually have problems with the generics. They will tell you that they can't understand your type, what you're doing, and this is the one more difference between, for example, for protocols, because types for protocols, they you know executed dynamically basically, and then in the runtime. Yes. Other than that, perfect. Really nice. Very good. Really good through all the questions. Really nice. Let's now quickly go to UI part. Instead of asking you some specific questions, let's make some scenario, and we'll just, increase that scenario, talk about that some UI scenario, and we'll try. So you work with the UIKit heavily, right? And I hope you work with the table views and all this kind of stuff many times. So probably you know how it works. Let's just try to discuss some scenario. So let's say we have array of users, all right? And each user has avatar image. I mean, some image. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to, I'm showing that users in the table view, and each avatar, it's like it's get by separate URL, for every
Mm-hmm.
user. So every user has a URL for avatar. And I build it an app when in every cell I'm asking for avatar for that specific, user in the table view cell. I mean, I'm asking for the avatar, and that works. And it works. So I'm scrolling. I have user. The avatar downloads. That's good. Unless I decided to profile it, and I used my app. I slowed down the network to very, very slow, and I start scrolling. I'm scrolling the app. It's not lagging, but I don't see the images. And more I scroll down, more I should wait for images for some reason. Like, let's say I have 1,000 users, so I'm scrolling to a very low position, very bottom. But and I got all the 1,000 in a time, of course, no pagination, like all of them. So that's why I can scroll. But images, they downloading really slow for some reason. And more I scroll, more slow they download. What's the problem?
So, I think the problem is like we are downloading that particular images in the same uh via like single API, like not a single API or or one go. I mean to say, like we are doing that downloading kind of the thing in the one go. What it should be like done is like we should like the pagination is not there.
Yeah, for some
One
reason.
more. So solution for that is the some like pagination kind of the thing, like
But wait,
request of.
but wait. Images downloaded separately.
Mhm.
So it's new requests. So one cell, one request for avatar image, because it's just extra something. So, each user has URL for image. Okay, during when I'm showing that in the table view, inside table view cell, I gonna execute some requests for getting avatar image of my user and then showing in the cell. It's kind of classic approach, I think, for many table related things when you're getting it specifically for the cell. This is so every cell separate request, and I have trouble when it's slow network. I'm scrolling my table really fast to the bottom, but images they showing really slow, like super slow, and more far I scroll, more I should wait to get, let's say very last user image.
Like some different scenarios I'm thinking in this case. Uh, One thing is like you said that per cell you are like per uh, cell, or let's say user list. So per user, like we are calling the different a like we are hitting the different APIs for that. So obviously, like it is too much costly thing. Like if it is one way, like first way, like if it is possible that we can ask backend to send us data in one API, that that would be good for us. And another thing, like yeah, like some batch processing or some kind of the thing should be there.
Better.
Another
Okay.
scenario. So
All
like
right.
we can schedule those 10 in like 10 of the batches or 5 of the batches till the screen, like uh we have like cell reuse kind of the thing, like whenever like it goes up, like it will be reused that particular UITLB cell kind of the thing. Like in the batches, we can schedule those images. Like whenever we are scrolling up, but another previous image is already scheduled and they will be saved in the some cache kind of the thing. And whenever we scroll up, so we don't have to think about like again the API will should not call at least. So when we are scrolling up, we will get the data at some point, and like till then, like another API or another images will be sending in the queue for downloading in the background. And like when we like scrolling up, so then in like in that way, like with the help of the caching, bashing, like
Okay.
batch scheduling or the caching kind of the thing, we can achieve this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I think you somewhere nearby the problem. What is that I can just navigate you a bit more to the problem. So problem related to how table view works, the reusing of the cells, and in combination with the separate requests that we have for each cell. What could be the problem here, or what should we maybe be aware of when we're doing requests inside the cell?
or inside the cell, obviously, like the we will be passing some ID or some and
Image.
have
Well, you have a URL. You have a URL. You're just downloading from that URL.
URL, but per index path we are like when we are reusing the cell, it like takes up another cell in the visible area, then it will like reuse that particular previous cell memory kind of the thing. So that is, I think, different. And like UI memory is like UI kind of the thing is different from this
Yeah.
background. But as of now, like I'm thinking that only like that particular solution is coming in mind for that with the cache and the
Okay, but so I can tell that the problem leads down on the fact that when you're showing the cells, we're right away starting request and then we're
Mhm.
scrolling, meaning we're starting request again for other cells, and then we're scrolling and we're starting requests for other cells, and then we're scrolling. So the root problem that really, frequently I can see sometimes in the code that people don't think about canceling the request per
Yeah,
cell is reusing. So this is the problem, you see, because then if it's not, if you're not canceling, then your network's stuck with this kind of things that
this
might
point of
be
the
just
we-
1,000 users for no reason you're downloading. you're not canceling the request. If it's not, of course, if you're using some framework for caching images and downloading images, most likely it handles it itself. If you're using Swift UI, it probably, if you do it in the right way, it will do it normally as well with a modern concurrency. But yes, let's try to maybe tackle another problem here. The very also basic thing. So we have a same app, same everything, images showing now, normal network. But when I'm scrolling fast, I can see my images, avatars of users. They are jumping in a way, like, something is happening. When I'm scrolling, I see some previous image there, and then it's some new image, and then some other image. What's the problem? How to solve it?
So I think that is, that problem is related to uh, that is not a particular data kind of the thing. Like data we are obviously getting correct, but index path matching is not perfectly handling there, I think.
Index path, okay, absolutely no problem here. So let's try to just imagine that. So I'm taking the user
Mhm.
model and I'm passing it to the cell. And I'm taking the user from array by index path. All good here. But still I have this issue. I still have this issue for some reason. Images jumping, kinda. I see that, they flickering. There's some
Yeah,
previous image there from some cell, and then it's other image, then
this
other
kind of
image. Mhm.
yeah, I done in my like POC kind of the thing, but uh the in which POC, like that image caching kind of the thing, I have done this kind of the thing, but and seen this flickering kind of the thing, like another images loading in different cells we sometimes we see, but not remembering as of now, like
Yeah. It's also related to cell reusing mechanism. Have you heard about, how we can maybe prepare our cell before we
for you.
use? Is there anything like that we can use, any function that we can call so we can clean up stuff before using the cell? I remember
uh,
in the UI
mm,
kit, in the UI table you cell specifically, for example.
like in in the table view cell, we are generally like having main function is inside that, like that will be calling out like not exactly remembering
Yeah, and
the
it's just, the if you work with that, probably maybe you saw it. It's called
I've worked
yeah.
you so much ago, but not coming in my mind right now.
Yeah, the function called prepare for use.
Yeah,
Prepare for
prepare for
use
use.
inside. It's
Uh,
inside the table view cell or collection view cell. You can find it, and it's used exactly to clean up your labels or image
uh,
views before reusing, because
Before
that
that, when we are like,
not before reload data. It's before
yeah,
reusing the cell. So it's
yeah.
it's not from your side. Like you're not calling that function.
Mhm.
System calls that function.
Yeah.
But you just can, you implement that function or override it, actually override that function. And you can, put there something like clean up the image view, like image view, image nil, before if your cell is reused, because otherwise users, if you have not the really fast network, some kind of a little bit still good, but not super fast, not 5G, then you can see that in the cell some previous image. And then it's, jumps or kind of jumping flickers to the normal image or expected image. That's kind of behaviors happens. Yes, that's why it's really important to, analyze and test your app with a low network as well, just to see how it behaves. Because usually people not really test it. And then if you got to a situation where you have low network connectivity, your app is just going crazy for some reason. Something is flickering, something is that just doesn't work. You're pressing buttons, nothing happens, not even activity indicators not loading, no pop-ups. Then at some point some, alerts come up saying something went wrong. Cool
Yeah.
guys, cool, but what is it? So yes, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you. We can wrap up probably on that. So it was just some scenarios on the UI kit, how and what. Yes, I mean, of course, in these kind of examples, it's sometimes hard to get what interviewer expect exactly, of course.
Yeah.
But you give really good answers, I would say. You're not stuck because some people just stuck and completely not sure what to go, what should. You started giving like possible, solutions, and they might work actually because it's really depends on situation. So it could be, depends on the data, very very many conditions basically. That's why I try to navigate you better to what exactly I was, wanted to hear from you. But still, it's not an issue. You give really good answers anyway. Like how would you where you would start at least? What would you do? Um, yes, I think that was a good session. So pretty much it. What is your feelings? How do you feel after that?
Experience a different kind of a thing in it. So first time I'm giving a mock interview. So
Was it something that you had before in some interviews? Some questions like that in the interviews?
uh, some questions I have faced, but like mostly are the new
Most of you.
basically.
Okay, cool. Really.
Basically, I can say like this is also a way like interviewers might ask, but these are the different questions which I'm like facing maybe like some of the first time, but some of the maybe second or third time. So
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have not many topics. I mean, sorry, you can ask same things differently, right?
yeah,
That's
like
true.
different like many like persons can ask that particular thing in a different scenario.
Absolutely.
So in that way, like something like I have to come out answer like, is it the same thing or not?
Yeah, that's true. But it's always good that you're asking when you maybe some didn't understand, so you're like doing it right away, not just sitting and waiting and not sure what is. This is a really good behavior because we don't want to spend time for no reason. Both,
Yeah,
I don't want to take your time, you don't want to take my time for no reason, and that's really nice that if you didn't understand, just you ask. If you don't know, you tell that you don't know.
that's
Really good behavior. So for me, let's say if it would be a real technical interview, I would definitely tell a green flag, for you. No red flags for me. Yes, but of course, any technical interview is a combination of things
yeah,
like
yeah,
before, after, some maybe technical tasks, some
yeah.
HR manager, how you fit in the team. All these things they matters, and then of
Really
course.
wants-
Yes, exactly. But thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, and
Thanks,
good luck with any other interviews.
sure.
Yes,
Thanks for
yes.
that.
Bye
And
bye.
for
Yes, thank you. Yes, bye bye.